Iranian drones struck the United States Embassy in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia early Tuesday morning as the war between the United States, Israel and Iran spreads across the Middle East. An Iranian military commander has declared the Strait of Hormuz closed. That is the choke point for 1/5 of the world's oil trade, and global energy prices are already surging. You are watching NowBurst. This conflict is escalating by the hour, and this is the full picture right now. The strikes on the embassy follow a joint U.S.-Israeli military campaign against Iran that has included airstrikes across Tehran and reportedly against nuclear facilities. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was killed during the campaign. Iran has been retaliating with missiles and drones aimed at American military positions, embassies, and infrastructure across the Gulf. The war has now pulled in armed groups in Lebanon, Iraq, and multiple Gulf states. 2 drones hit the U.S. Embassy compound in Riyadh, causing what Saudi Arabia's defense ministry called a limited fire and minor damage. The embassy urged Americans to stay away. This followed an attack on the U.S. Embassy in Kuwait, which has now closed until further notice. The State Department ordered the evacuation of non-emergency personnel and families from Kuwait, Bahrain, Iraq, Qatar, and Jordan. Americans across more than a dozen countries have been told to leave, but with much of the region's airspace shut down, many can't get out. But the embassy strikes are only a fraction of what is unfolding. Across Tehran, explosions echoed through Monday night into Tuesday. Witnesses described aircraft overhead. Iranian state television said strikes hit a broadcasting facility but reported no injuries there. Iran's ambassador to the International Atomic Energy Agency said the Natanz nuclear enrichment site was struck on Sunday, the same facility the U.S. bombed during the 12-day Iran-Israel war in June of last year. Iran says it stopped enriching uranium after those strikes and maintains its nuclear program is peaceful. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said Iran was rebuilding underground nuclear sites, though he offered no evidence for the claim. Satellite images analyzed by the Associated Press showed limited activity at 2 nuclear facilities before this war began, with analysts saying Tehran appeared to be checking damage from last year. President Trump described the campaign's goals as destroying Iran's missile capabilities, eliminating its navy, preventing nuclear weapons, and cutting off support for allied groups like Hezbollah. He said operations would last 4 to 5 weeks, possibly longer, and wrote on social media that the United States had a virtually unlimited supply of munitions. Iran's response has reached far beyond its own borders. Iranian forces struck Amazon data centers in the United Arab Emirates, hit energy facilities in Qatar and Saudi Arabia, and attacked ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Brigadier General Ebrahim Jabari, an advisor to Iran's Revolutionary Guard, declared the strait closed. Don't come to this region, he said. If that closure holds, it would disrupt global energy supply chains in a way not seen in decades. The U.S. military also confirmed that Kuwait mistakenly shot down 3 American fighter jets during an Iranian air assault. All 6 pilots ejected safely. That single incident shows the confusion of a conflict growing faster than the forces inside it seem able to manage. The human toll is climbing on every side. The Iranian Red Crescent Society says at least 555 people have been killed in Iran. In Israel, 11 people died from Iranian missiles, including a mother and daughter whose funeral in Beit Shemesh was interrupted by sirens, warning of more incoming strikes. In Lebanon, Israeli strikes on Hezbollah killed 52 people and wounded 154. 6 American soldiers and a logistics unit in Kuwait were killed. 3 people died in the Emirates and 1 each in Kuwait and Bahrain. Online, many people are struggling to find consistent information about the war at all. Across multiple countries, users report that conflict coverage has dropped from their social media feeds, with some blaming algorithm changes and others suspecting deliberate suppression.
Intentional or not, the sense that information is being filtered is changing how millions experience this war in real time.
The debate over the campaign itself is just as split. Some see the strikes as a necessary response to Iran's nuclear ambitions and its network of armed allies across the region. Others view the operation as a reckless escalation with no exit strategy. Some have questioned the attribution of the Riyadh embassy strike to Iran specifically, noting that Iran has claimed responsibility for other attacks in this campaign, but reportedly denied this one. That question hasn't been answered. And the war is still widening. Hezbollah fired missiles at Israel on Monday. Israel responded with strikes across Beirut and southern Lebanon and said its troops are now operating near the Lebanese border in what it called a forward defense posture. In Iraq, an Iranian-linked group claimed strikes on U.S. military facilities. The International Organization for Migration warned Tuesday that further escalation will displace more families across a region where millions are already homeless. What matters now is whether Iran's closure of the Strait of Hormuz holds and what it does to global energy markets this week. Also, whether Iran's ability to retaliate fades under sustained bombardment or keeps expanding, and whether more countries and more armed groups get pulled into a war that already spans half the Middle East. In Beit Shemesh, mourners scrambled for cover as sirens wailed over a funeral. In Tehran, a worker mounted a portrait of the dead supreme leader on an overpass while smoke still hung in the streets. In Beirut, fires burned in the southern suburbs at dawn. 3 countries, 3 scenes, all from the same 24 hours. No one on any side has said when the next 24 hours will look any different.